Hello everyone. I have received a wonderful gift this week. You know what that gift was? It was ringworm. Because some was like, I have this bacterial fungus that is growing on my body in a ring-like shape. I'm not gonna cover it up and I'm just gonna go to work. In other words, I'm dying of the plague. I might as well be dead now. So in retaliation, I'm going to be playing with shapes. And shapes that are not circular. Shapes that do not remind me of the plague that I carry. So I saw a doctor today and I'm being treated. But when I find out who the that gave me this ringworm, I'm gonna have a lot of strong words to say to you, sir and or madam. A lot. I have no words beyond just curiosity. I mean, I think that this is probably just a look right now. I don't think I need to go any farther than this. I don't know when the last time this thing was cleaned. Suddenly the ringworm is making a lot more sense. So in the meantime, while I'm painting myself, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story about a game that I've been playing. And it reminds me of my current situation. And that game is called Dishonored. So it's this game. It's in this far-off kingdom called Dunwall. And in Dunwall, everything's going a little ape because people are getting eaten alive by rats. And so the empress of this kingdom is like, hey yo daddy, who I'm totally not, I need you to go out into the other kingdoms around the area and I need you to probe around and see if anyone has any advice on how to deal with these rats that are literally consuming whole people. And he's like, I had a Tinder date tonight, but I guess I can go. So he goes out into the neighboring kingdoms and they're like, nah brah, we're not helping you. And he's like, okay, well I gotta go tell this sweet that I'm totally like not, and I gotta tell her that you guys aren't helping. And he tells her that nobody's gonna help her. And so she takes his little letter that he's written and composed, because he can't tell her verbally that no one is gonna help her. She's like, listen, you trick ass hoe, I had a kid with you, you had one job, and then she gets stabbed by some ninjas who literally showed up out of thin air. She gets stabbed and dies. So then this dude gets arrested and they're like, dude, you killed the empress. And he's like, totally didn't. She got stabbed right in front of me. And they're like, well, no one else is here but you. Long story short, he escapes from jail. It's not really anything you need to know. But then he's approached by this, like, dark-eyed demon called the Outsider. And the Outsider's like, yo, I'm gonna give you some magical powers, and you're gonna save the world. And he's like, sure, I guess. He crawls through the sewers and he survives, like, several rats that have tried to consume him. And he makes it to this pub where there are these people who want to take down the, like, person that's trying to take over the empire. And he's just like, okay. So using his magical powers, he saves the empress's daughter. And it takes a long time for that to happen because, you know, he's gotta kill some people. He's gotta use his magic powers. He's gotta kill the right people. He's gotta get to this brothel where there are all these whores and they're like in a bathhouse and they're like doing their thing. They're sucking dick, they're having fun, they're getting their trade, they're getting paid. And that's where the empress's daughter is being kept, at this brothel. My kid went to daycare and ended up in a brothel. I would probably be pretty pissed off. He takes care of everyone there. And depending on how you play the game, you can either kill everyone or you can like neutralize them in whatever way you see fit. So then he gets invited by inviting himself to this super fancy dress party and everyone's like in masks and everything. And meanwhile, while he's at this party, people are still getting eaten alive on the streets by the rats. Like, it's no big deal. Everything's fine. These are all like super rich, high society people, so they're kind of like, they don't really care. I destroyed the party, I popped all the balloons, I tried to light the house on fire, but it wouldn't really let me. The owner of the house, she's playing this little costume game with her daughters. So he takes her out, and this is what you get for plotting to kill the Empress. And then he goes back to find out that he's got to go kill like the most important guy. Probably in the back of his mind he's thinking, I should have never the Empress. I should have never ever touched her vagina. I should have just left it alone, done my job, gone home like everyone else in this whole damn city, and just lived in constant fear of getting eaten alive by rodents. I just made a huge mess. So at this point I would have been like, okay, I'm going home now. Like, I've had enough fun for all of this. But this daddy decides like, okay, I'm just gonna do this last job and everything's gonna be fine. And like, my daughter's gonna get to be the Empress and everything will be okay. And then he gets back home and the people who have been helping him poison him. They try to poison him and kill him, and then they sell him to this like crazy assassin who was the same one who killed the Empress, the woman who he totally was not boning and had a kid with. He escapes from this guy's clutches and he gets out, and then he's faced with the opportunity to kill this dude, which he doesn't. He mechanically is like, no, I'm gonna let you live, despite what you've done, despite all the horrible things you've done. I'm gonna let you live. What? Why? Why would you do that? I'd be like, no, you're dead, you're gone. Don't even, no, bye. He goes to save his daughter, the Empress, and he goes to this lighthouse, and he's got to fight some of his friends, loose friends, because, you know, they stole her, and they tried to betray him. They're trying to ruin everything. They're trying to take over the kingdom. They're trying to do their own thing. Like, they're fitting to playing games. They think they're Viola Davis getting away with murder. So then he saves his daughter. He goes up to the top of the lighthouse and he finds her and he saves her, and then she becomes the Empress at like 8 years old. I don't think she's quite prepared for this job. And everyone is like, yeah, the Empress, she's here, she's taking over. She's only 8 years old. She barely just got out of freaking preschool, but she's gonna rule. But there's still rats out in the streets eating people. Low key, the Empress had a sister out there, and this sister is crazy. This bitch has been on a bender her entire life, and she works damn hard to try to steal everything, but she's stopped and she's killed. Because then by the time that 2 comes around, the is back and she is like out for blood. At this point it's all kind of open for interpretation on what happens next, but it's mostly a lot of bad things. Not a lot of good happens. A lot of people die. And rats are still eating people. And it's not just rats. There's flies, big, giant, gross, disgusting flies that are just straight devouring people. They literally had all this time to fix it. And they were like, our Empress is 8. It's just not. It'll fix itself someday. And at no point does this like demonic god who has the power literally to give magical powers to anyone, at no point does he think, I'm gonna help. He's kind of just a giant gaping. So basically, really the only way to put all this is because this puta is like, I'm not content being the most rich, fabulous, wealthy person in the whole kingdom. I really just want a normal, boring life where I don't have to have anything exciting happening to me. I just really hate being so fabulously wealthy and having all of the latest designers make anything for me, and I could literally have anything, but instead I'm not going to aid the homelessness population. I'm not going to stop rats from eating people on the streets. I'm not going to stop the flies from eating anyone. I'm just gonna shop from the steampunk section on Amazon, and I'm gonna wear some touty clothes and just pout in the streets in the middle of the night and ditch my security guards, because I'm just not happy being so fabulously wealthy and rich, and I can't think of anything better to do with my time. And someone comes and takes her power. This crazy who says she's her aunt comes back from the dead. She has all of her friends do a little orgy seance, and they bring her dead back into the world, and she's like, okay, it's time to it up. She's like, if this little twat doesn't want to be the empress, I'll be the empress. So this fabulous shows up with like literally a bouquet of like dead, rotten roses super glued to her dress. She just thinks she's fabulous. And so she's like, I'm gonna use my powers. And she uses her magic powers, and she turns the Beefcake Daddy into a stone statue. All right, you can go. So really it all just starts going downhill from this point, because then the Empress has to escape her own castle. She's gotta like go and enlist some people to help her. She's gotta try to get her kingdom back. And it's all just like really messy and unorganized, because she's gotta kill a lot of people too, but she doesn't know how to do that. So then that's when this outsider's like, an opportunity. I can give you some magical powers that'll make everything better, girl. And she's like, where the are you for like the last 16 years? Why are you just now showing up? And he's like, oh girl, I'm gonna turn you into a shadow. You're gonna be able to go around and scoop around. You're gonna tear people apart. It's gonna be great. And by the way, here's the heart of your dead mama. She's gonna help you find some magical items that'll give you more magical powers. It's gonna be real fierce. So she's like, okay, let me just go and kill everyone who betrayed me and took over my kingdom that I didn't actually even want. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna make everyone pay. And that's what she does. And she's like, I mean, I don't want this, but also, I'm not gonna be some trick peasant. Hells to the no. So kind of long and short of the whole thing, she gets her kingdom back, and she still doesn't seem to be like too happy with the fact that she got it back. Like, she couldn't really be bothered, but at the same time she's like, but it's mine. I don't know if there's much of a moral to this story other than like, don't be rich and powerful because it's not as great as it sounds. I guess the moral would be, trust no hoe. I'm not trusting nobody ever again. Also, the rats are still out there eating people.